What is happening in Jamaica's real estate market in light of the recent receivership claims of the Hambani development? How much have recent events, whether locally, globally, impacted consumer and investor confidence? So the question we pose in Lead Story this evening is the market booming or is it busted? We're joined by Dennis Hickey, and he is the director and realtor at Hickey Grant Property Masters, and Andrew Wallery, dealer in training attached to GM Realty, with a background in finance, accounting, and in treasury management and liquid asset training. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. It's good to have you here on Lead Story.
Thanks for having me.
I'm checking if you're hearing me clearly. All right, great. So
Thanks for having me, Andre.
Okay, good. I just wanted to ensure that both of you guys are here. So how do you summarize, I want to start with you, Andrew. How do you summarize what's happening in the real estate market right now and the industry as a whole? Are we seeing a positive outturn, or should we be wondering, our price is too high? Is it something we want to be investing in? That's the question I have for you to start this out.
Well, that's a very interesting question, Andre. Well, all markets are interlinked. Our fixed income market, our stock market, the real estate market, the currency market, and a lot is happening in the different markets. Like I would say the stock market, the real estate market is at a point where some amount of maturity in terms of price, and you have stiff competition from the fixed income market. If you realize quite a bit of financial institutions have floated instruments on the market, fixed income instruments, which are paying very attractive rates for investors with minimal risk. Now, when it is that an investor who is devoid of emotions decide to invest his capital, they are going to look at options that are paying the most reasonable rate with the lowest risk. And some of the offerings I'm seeing 30 up to 13%, and that those are coming from APOs or from different institutions. Now, real estate on average now, the ROI on those, some of the more current projects, they are in the lows of say 4 to 5%. Some of them could be lower. However, commercial real estate is quite attractive, which compares with some of the fixed income offerings that I see on the market now. The real estate market, I think it's, there's all markets operate in cycle, and I do believe the real estate market could be at a pause or an end of cycle for now. But I do believe that as soon as interest rates are adjusted downwards, you could see another uptick. Why? Because there is just a huge demand and still a pent-up demand for housing solutions in Jamaica.
Yeah, as we go on that point of housing solutions in Jamaica, Dennis, I want to ask you, based on what we've been hearing, the young people that have been crying over the past couple of years, conversations swirling around on Twitter and all the other social media spaces about the cost of housing. People have this benchmark price now of about $30 million for a one-bedroom apartment in Kingston City. So what do you say about the market now, then? Go ahead, Andrew, so I can hear what your thought is on that statement about the market.
I look
and
at the market mostly from the perspective of the demand and supply for housing solutions, booking place to live. Now, we have one, the market is segmented. Definitely. But for high price apartments, there seem to be a serious slowing down. I have developers who are pausing in high cost apartments and condos and townhouses. However, the market at the lower end, the market where most people are pre-qualified. Are we talking about mid-level professionals is far from being satisfied.
Right.
The solution, therefore, is to see how we can bridge the gap, how we can produce at the level where the demand is highest. There are people who are buying real estate for investment purposes. They're going to be focused on alternative investments, looking at what pays the higher returns. But the ROI for the guy, for the lady who needs a place to live is really about what I can afford, what they can afford at the price at which the pre-qualification allows them. So I believe that if you look at the market in a segmented way, there is a little problem at the highest points. There is significant demand at the lower price points, the lower 30s, the Phoenix Park and those people.
Yeah.
If you talk to them, you will find out that the demand continues to outstrip the supply. They can't supply fast enough at those prices. So in summary, I think that the market is slowing down at the higher price points, but there's a whole lot of opportunity. Not enough is being produced at the lower points. And so that is where I think we should look at the market.
All right, hold it there for me, Dennis. Hold it there for me, Andrew. We're going for a break. We'll be back with more on Lead Story.
Jamaica, the Reggae Boys are on the road to the 2026 World Cup. On Tuesday, June 10 at 6 p.m., we converge on the National Stadium as Jamaica battles Guatemala in World Cup qualifiers. Let's bring the noise for the boys and fill up the office. Admission bleachers $1,500, grandstand $5,500, VIP $10,000. Get your tickets now at jff.corporate.com or visit the JFF on Instagram. June 10, come make noise for the boys. And it's brought to you by Ray Neville, Stuart Auto, St. Mary's Snacks, Just Bet, Powerade, True Shake, and Water.
Every child deserves a home filled with love. When hope meets heart, a new journey begins.
Welcome home, David.
Welcome, David. Make it your own.
Family is built on moments shared.
Go, David, yes!
Every smile and every shared moment connects us with a brighter future. Here, you're not just welcomed, you're family. Foster hope, foster love, foster a child today. Contact the CPFSA for more information.
I'm not here to take someone's place. I am Ganga, and I have my own identity. Radhika needs you now. Please sit with her and go assure her that no matter what happens, you will never leave her side.
Handling the accounts of this is my responsibility. I will find out why this money is unaccounted for.
You have one night to make sure that you carry out your duties properly, Shiv, because from tomorrow, you will no longer have a role to play here.
No one is allowed to touch Parvati's things no matter what. No one at all. Least of all you.
Ganga.
Brought to you by
Hyundai or Hyundai.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about the housing market. Is it booming or is it busting? We have been having a conversation with Dennis Hickey, and of course, he is a realtor director. I could go on, and Andrew Wallery, who is also one in the industry. So we've been having this conversation about what's happening in the market thus far. Now, we have heard some announcements from the government as it relates to raising the loan amounts at the NHT. We've heard calls again from the BOJ recently about reducing those interest rates from the banks on a wide array of stuff that the bank would have as their financial instruments. And based on that, there is a bit of optimism for those who are in that, lower middle region when it comes on to accessing financing, etc., so that they can now finance their home. But the problem is, and the problem continues to be, starting with you, Dennis, the concern of affordability. Yes, we know the demand exists, but where will we find a solution for affordability for those who want to own a home but cannot afford that property that you'd say is on the high end price point? Dennis?
Yeah, so the raising of the threshold is always good. And there are some people who are always going to benefit from that increase in threshold. There is some kind of a correlation between the threshold increase at the NHT and the price of housing. And it has been said, and the association is still looking at that correlation, but every time the threshold increases, so does the price of houses. Now, one of the problems we have in the country is that it's not necessarily that the price of houses are expensive, but income, the per capita income of Jamaicans generally is low, and so many people can't afford it. And I want to go practical. I leave Andrew to talk about the investments and interest rates. Demand is high, supply is low, and supply at the lowest price points where a bulk of Jamaicans exist. We are not producing enough. I believe we have enough land in this country to be able to produce at least starter homes to improve on them. We struggle in the market to find homes for people below $20 million. Every time a client reaches out to us and you ask, what's your pre-qualification? And the client comes back with a figure close to 20, a little below, a little above. It's the hardest thing to find.
Yeah, so on that point,
there
Dennis,
are some suppliers in the market who do not work
exactly? Are you hearing me, Dennis?
Yes.
Yes, I'm saying to you, what are the impediments? What are the issues for us to not get to that point? Because you've said it, the land is there, the developers exist, but why are we not getting to that point to meet the needs of that $20 million man or woman?
So few developers are in that space. I would imagine the people who produce like Phoenix Park are still in that space, and the prices are going up each phase. The truth is that most developers do not see the kind of margin at the lower price points that they see on the condos, the apartments, the townhouses at the higher price point. So they're unwilling. The other fact is land availability within the areas where most people want to live, which is close to the cities. Then there is the additional cost that accompanies large housing developments, the cost of infrastructure, which I believe ought to be borne, some of it by government, land availability, and all those additional costs. The infrastructure would include sewer, water, light, roads, and those things. So the developers prefer to stay within the Kingston and St. Andrew area, build condos on half-acre lands, make a significant profit, and move on to the next one. So what we have is a growing production by some developers in Kingston and St. Andrew. The others who are building mass housing, the Chemtex, the goers, those people, we don't get a lot of data on what they do in the industry because they do not use the industry to sell what they build. But what we do know is that when you call them on behalf of a particular client, they're always having 5,000-6,000 people wanting to buy the production of 1,000 homes. So the question is, how do we catch up? So it's a matter of how do we
All right, Dennis is breaking there.
Productive capabilities.
Okay.
That government may have a role in partnering with some of the developers to produce, so that the developers get satisfaction from making what a reasonable margin, and government attain the objective of satisfying the housing demand.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to Andrew, and I'm going to ask Andrew this question because you brought it up about the government's role. And what would you say, Andrew, is the government's role in providing a space or an industry that has equity as it relates to real estate and not just quantity in terms of more homes?
Well, I do believe that the government could provide some amount of subsidy in terms of infrastructure with the large lower income projects. I do believe that financial institutions can be engaged as well because as Dennis said, we have the land. So if we engage our financial institutions, then the government provides some amount of subsidy to, reduce the costs per unit, then I do believe that we would have less and less impediments to getting people to own the home at which price point they can afford. And as Dennis said, this was within the 20 million and below. And I do believe that with the technology that's available, especially with the forms that they have, and this is a construction system where they put the forms together and they put the electrical, the plumbing, the steel, and then pour it. They pull off the forms and they go to another one. That method has reduced the cost significantly as opposed to laying block by block, and that takes forever. And then that is also dependent on the skill of the workmen. So it's multifaceted, and I do believe the opportunities are there for those developers. And the government, I do believe, can incentivize developers, which would give them a reasonable return, something that is competitive marketly with the market, so that they can see a reasonable return on their investment.
All right, I'm going to stop you there, Andrew. We're going for a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what if the bubble were to burst.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. We never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
I always said I wanted to be one of the best players in the world. I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know if I'm ever going to be, but it was the first time Jamaicans were going to see me play. I couldn't even believe it myself. And when the national anthem was playing, I almost felt like I wanted to cry. When I was younger, I used to like Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho a lot. Especially Ronaldinho though, because Ronaldinho used to be flary. And I used to say, yo, I want to be flary like that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm a dribbler.
Yeah.
Jamaica, the Reggae Boys are on the road to the 2026 World Cup. On Tuesday, June 10 at 6 p.m., we converge on the National Stadium as Jamaica battles Guatemala in World Cup qualifiers. Let's bring the noise for the boys and fill up the office. Admission bleachers $1,500, grandstand $5,500, VIP $10,000. Get your tickets now at jff.corporate.com or visit the JFF on Instagram. June 10, come make noise for the boys. And it's Goatee Bar, Ray Nephew, Stuart Auto, St. Mary's Snacks, Just Bet, Powerade, True Shake, and Water.
A common practice while socializing, celebrating, or just relaxing is the consumption of alcohol. To some, this is second nature. All too common also are the negative effects that drinking has on the human body. While occasional drinking is not necessarily a problem, it's the excessive intake that can have severe consequences. The effects of too much alcohol consumption include blurred vision, breathing problems, impaired judgment, concentration problems, slurred speech, and of course, addiction resulting from long-term use. Now, these effects may vary based on a variety of factors such as how much you drink, how often you drink, your age, health status, and family history. Alcohol use does not have to be reckless. Here are some tips to practice responsible drinking.
Plan ahead. If you plan on drinking at an event, get a designated driver.
Shoulder. Yeah. Set your own limit. No how much is too much.
Know your family history. If you come from a family with a history of alcohol dependence, you might want to limit your drinking.
Remember, responsible drinking is a very simple thing.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
Easter vibes may be fading, but let's take a colorful look back at the paint and play fun.
Today is beautiful. I actually wanted her to do something Easter, so I'm glad she was able to get out and do this. She loves painting, so she loves the whole entire event.
So this is our third staging, and as I said, this is the first time we're doing an outside event, and thanks to the aesthetics of the artisan village, everything looks so nice and wonderful, and we're just happy that the parents and the children loved it.
Bounce, painting, and
an Easter egg hunt. It's a lot of fun.
I like it because it's what I like to do. I love to draw and stuff like that, so it's fun, and I love kids also, so it's all come together and I really enjoy it. As you can see, the support was great. The parents and children loved it, and I expected nothing less because, of course, it's a family bonding event, and I'm sure every parent and every family endorses what Play It and Play is about, and it's about building family bonds. It's about everybody just coming and having a bonding experience.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yeah. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.